Hey,
hear you.
Yeah, thanks so much. This is Grover Norquist. He is the president and founder of Americans for Tax Reform, ATR.org. Grover, I've seen you a lot on all the cable airwaves. You've been very busy, my friend, these days, and I wanted to ask you first of all about something we've been talking about tonight, which is where are we? Where do you think we are? What are you hearing about the Obamacare repeal, replace, whatever we're going to do with it? Plan.
Well, the Senate is determined. The Republicans in the Senate are determined to pass a measure which greatly scales back Obamacare, reforms Medicaid, and expands individual choice through methods like health savings accounts. Now, 2 people have said they're not playing, of the 52 Republicans. So you need every one of 50 people in. Now, most everybody's in, but there are a few who sort of say, well, you can have my vote if I got this. And this is what happened when Obamacare went in. You remember the Cornhusker kickback,
yes,
where the Democrat from Nebraska got paid off, and the Gator giveaway, where Nelson, the Democrat from Florida, got certain deals and club bargains, and the Louisiana Purchase. And those are the only ones that had cool names, so they're the only ones I remember. But since they needed 60 votes, there were probably about 60 deals. Now, so this will be worked out. It is unfortunate that people are not playing team ball as much as I think they ought to. But in a world without earmarks, it is the only way for one senator to walk away with goodies.
Right.
So it's terribly, it's something that they're attracted to.
Grover,
They'll work it out.
Yeah, Grover,
they'll work it out. We'll get it passed.
Grover, what do we say to our and we love them dearly. We're glad that generally they're on our side most of the time. Our libertarian friends like Senator Rand Paul and some other folks who say, "Oh, it's just not enough. It's Obamacare light." Blah 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 blah. I've looked at this. I've actually looked at the things that you just mentioned, and if we don't do this, we're passing up a huge opportunity to finally do some entitlement reform, and then we're stuck with Obamacare. And everybody who said they were going to do something on this for the last 8 years will have done nothing.
Yeah, there were a handful of people in the House of Representatives who could not vote for a bill that would have quickly passed the Senate. So they delayed the whole process 6 weeks, while they worked out in their view, perfect bill that was never going to pass. It was never going to be even discussed at the Senate side. And you wonder, did they not understand? People who refer to themselves as constitutionalists should read the Constitution every once in a while, because in it points out the annoying thing that you could have a House of Representatives that's quite conservative, but if the Senate isn't there, the bill, if it's going to be law, has to be passed by the Senate,
yes,
as well as the House. And for 8 years, we had Republicans screaming, what's the matter with these Republicans? They have the House of Representatives, but not the presidency and not the Senate. Why don't they just pass everything we want?
Right.
I wanted to say, well, you see a bill. That's why those little things on Saturday mornings where they explain to kids that the bill has to pass the House and the Senate, they get signed by the president, should be put on nightly news so the adults could see them. It's no good thinking up the perfect plan and then expecting somebody to pass it.
Absolutely.
It's great to have the perfect plan. It should be out there like the North Star, but you always sail towards the North Star. You don't get to the North Star.
Right.
You sail towards it in order to get to England or someplace else.
Exactly.
We have, as you were saying, a very real opportunity to have the first major reform of an entitlement program since Clinton was forced to sign. Remember, we passed it 3 times, took it the third time to sign welfare reform, to block grant it to the states. This block grants Medicaid to the states. If we don't do this, the states all go bankrupt. They all go bankrupt for Medicaid alone. And putting it out to the states, the competent governors will shine, and the incompetent governors will lose the next election. And I think it's one of the best things we could do to improve the quality and caliber of governors, which is to give them a grown-up program with serious resources, with a lot of decisions to make, and sometimes it means saying no, and sometimes it means prioritizing all the things that bad politicians don't like to do, but true leaders understand are necessary and are helpful to the whole country. This is a great bill. It's not a perfect bill. It is in the right direction. Those of us, look, I've never been in a room where I wasn't the most radical guy in the room that came to cutting taxes and spending.
Right.
But I've also never been in a room when I wasn't the most patient person. And that means if what you're doing reduces taxes and reduces projected spending, it is a compromise in the right direction. You wanted more. I want more than it's in this bill. I want more than any bill that this Congress could pass. But I recognize that there's much more to be done. This is step number one in reforming all entitlements. And look, if you're trying to get from Washington, D.C. to California, ending up in Missouri is not treason. It's on the way.
Exactly.
It's a compromise. It's if you're going to get to California, you at one point have to pass through Missouri, and that's okay. That's a compromise. But if somebody tells you, and too many of our people on our team have been told compromise when what the other team was actually saying or the media was saying was lose. So if you say I'm going to California from Washington, D.C., and you end up with your shoes wet and everybody around you speaking French, you've been heading in the wrong direction. That's not a compromise. That's losing.
Exactly.
And the press, like the establishment press, likes to say, oh, you should compromise, have a tax increase.
Right.
That's losing. Not compromising. Compromising is moving towards liberty more slowly than you'd like to because there are mountains and rivers and Democrats in the way.
Exactly. Hey, Grover, we got to run, but thank you so much. I'm going to have you back on when we get to tax reform because that's really going to be the big enchilada that we're all really looking forward to. And in the meantime, folks, you need to look at ATR.org. There's tons of information about the Obamacare repeal and replace, about the beginnings of the tax reform package. It's excellent, and it's comprehensive. So, Grover, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Good to be with you.
And I'll see you again soon. That was Grover Norquist, ATR.org, president and founder of Americans for Tax Reform. This is Tim Jones. We will have Mayor James Knowles up next, talking about the third-year anniversary of Ferguson. All that and more when we come back here at FM News Talk 97.1.